Okay, I am flying the Avata 2. I have been flying this thing a lot. I just haven't been posting any videos about it after the big crash. So a recap on the crash. I was flying right across the street over here in the wooded area. I was messing around with my gimbal tilt and in manual mode and avoiding trees all at the same time, and that was a bad thing. It crashed. I was outside of the care refresh, and I had to pay $188 to get a new drone. And they sent me a brand new drone in a box that didn't have anything else in it. It had this drone only SKU. So a lot of people are wondering about the drone only, and it is coming. But today I have a couple things I want to cover, and one of them is easy acro. The other is motion tracking, head tracking. Okay, so you can't enable easy acro while recording, so you have to make sure that you're not recording for that. And let's see here, I can't enable head tracking at the same time. So we're going to Alright, we're good. Alright, so let's get out of this area here. I put an ND8 on here, but I didn't adjust my camera settings at all. So by default, it's on slide, which is just, you use this little joystick and you go right and it will sidestep right or left. And then if you go up or down, it will go up in altitude or down in altitude. So it's kind of, it does that by default, even if you're not in easy acro mode. This is just like the normal mode. I suppose they leave that mode in there in case you want that mode when you're in the easy acro. But the real cool modes are this 180 drift mode, which I'll do right now. And you kind of want to find an object that you want to keep in your point of view. So I'm going to go past, I don't know, this tree right here. And I'll hit this button here, and I rewind while keeping it in focus. I can do it again going the other way. That's cool. And it'll keep going backwards, straight backwards, as long as you're holding down the trigger. And I think you can slow it down. So let's see here. Make sure there's no people over here. And we'll do the drift right here. And then I think I can slow it down. Yeah, I can ease up on it. And then I have to completely let off the trigger to kind of get back into normal flight. And then, and you can do that left or right. And then the other mode is this flip mode, which is exactly what it sounds like. You have to have a certain amount of altitude for it to work. So if the little altitude is red down below, you're too low. In fact, it's probably about like 2 meters. Yeah. So you basically just flip the stick whichever direction you want to go, and you'll do a flip, and it's all automatic. And it's fun. I wouldn't say it's cinematic, but like I can come up here using this stick and pretend like I'm doing acro, I guess. Do a little roll over this thing. Whee! Oh, too low. So it's holding my hand. I'll put this DVR in the video so that you'll see what I'm seeing. All right. So here I am. I got my kids playing over on the playground. My wife's over there spotting with me. Yeah, pretty fun. Let's go back up to the drift. Whee! And you can't do the drift again until you let your hand off the finger off the controller. And then say you need to just go back to regular slide control. And we still got that. I should increase my speed on that a little bit. Okay, bring it back. So slide is nice to be able to kind of get this altitude while orbiting without, like, with the motion controller normally to gain altitude, you have to look up at the sky. Or if you want to descend, you have to look down. So using slide up and down, you can kind of tease, get up and down out of the sky while still looking forward. Let's get over here. So you can use it to adjust your altitude cruising. Normally with the motion controller, it's really easy though to keep your altitude where you want. It's just point and shoot. You just put the little circle where you want to go. Let's go a little faster. So I have to slow down to go into sport mode. And then, can I do flips and stuff? Oh, so sport mode, you can't do any cool stuff. Sport mode, I can only do slide. So it's just normal in sport mode. Oh! That was a close one. Alrighty. Let's take a look at that. What was that? Look at this. Whee! All right. Motion head tracking. Stop recording. Hit the pause button. Go up here. We're turning off easy acro. We're turning on head tracking. We're going to start. Am I recording? Okay, I never stopped recording. Okay, that's fine. Cool. So, motion, head tracking. So, the circle is where I'm pointing with my hand. Let me make sure I'm actually in frame here for this. Where are we? We're over here. I'm going to step back. Okay, so the circle is where I'm pointing my stick, and apparently this turns the drone yaw too, but I can also kind of glance to the side. And head centering is that bar up at the top of the triangle. So I'm like all the way over to the left now. I'm tilted, like looking practically behind me when I was doing that. All right, so let's see how this works in practice. So remember, where I'm looking is the crosshair, and where I'm going is the circle. So I can kind of point myself here, and I can look around, and I know I'm still going to be going where that circle was, off over into the clearing. So let's put the circle down over here, and I can kind of look where I'm going. And apparently I'm yawing slowly, which that's the trick. Knowing what you're doing with your hand at the same time. Looks like there's a little bit of a fire over here. So that's kind of neat. You can do these orbits that really have the ability. Can I do this in sport mode? So let's go into. Okay. So that's kind of cool. I can do this in sport mode. So I can look. Whoa. I'm going to crash like this. I just know it. So let's go over the park. And I can look all around. And it just feels a little jerky. I feel like it's smoother than I remember the first time I tested this. It might have been on early firmware. I'm almost certain I've updated since then. So I really got to put this circle where I want it to go. And I really got to pay attention to that circle. It kind of bounces around. Oh, wow, okay. Really confusing. So, not gonna lie, I don't really like this mode at all. So I'm gonna turn that off. What else was I supposed to do? I talked about care refresh. By the way, I got the care refresh for 1 year on this new model, and it was only $60. I can crash it again, and it's only $50 to replace it, and I can do that 2 times. So versus what I had to pay, I highly recommend that insurance policy. Can I record? Recording. Okay, so if you have an incident and you're crashing and you're flying with this thing, you're supposed to just mash this orange button a bunch, I think 5 times, and it's going to disarm. That's if it's having some kind of like issue, like if it's detecting an impact basically. But I think I want to show what that looks like, and you can make it so that you can turn it off manually. Emergency propeller stop, is this it? This might be it. Press the lock button 4 times to stop propellers. So this is it. Okay, so if I do this, then I should be able to like just go disarm it over in the grass. Now in manual mode on the RC2, I'm in sport mode. On the RC3, I mean, you double tap the start-stop button and it will just shut it down. But for this guy, I never really knew what to do. The instructions say just to mash the button, but it will only do it if it's having like some kind of fault. So I kind of want to see what does this look like. So we're going to be right here. I'm as low as it will basically let me go, and I'm just going to hit this button 4 times. There it goes. There it goes. Okay. I gotta go get it. So on the remote the RC3, I don't really know what that means. I mean, are we supposed to push? What button do we push? So I think how it works with the motion controller 3 is when you enable that mode, you have to take your sticks, and I think you just push your sticks in and down like the same way that you start them. So you push them all the way down and all the way in, and you hold it like that, and it should just disarm it. All right, so I've got the RC3, and I am recording for some reason, which is fine. So let's go over to the settings, go to camera, no, safety, advanced, and emergency, and it says, move both control sticks towards the bottom, inner, or outer to stop it. Okay, so that's okay. I don't actually really need to worry about that. In manual mode, I know I can just double tap this button, the same button I'm going to use to start, and then that will work just the same. What's my battery? 43%. Okay. So, flight versus beta flight. It uses actual rates, but I don't have any rates for my throttle, so I can't do any throttle expo. But I can do all of my normal rates for the roll, pitch, yaw, axes. How does it fly? It flies pretty loose. Flies pretty sloppy. It every once in a while it just reminds you like, hey, this is not a beta flight drone. But it's so smooth, and I think that the reason it's sloppy, when I say smooth, I mean it's like the footage is smooth, and it's quiet, and it flies for a really, really, really long time. And I think because it's not wasting a lot of energy on stability management and attitude management, I think that's why. And then I have this adjustable tilt, which has gotten me into trouble before, but it's pretty nice to have. So if I try to do like a wall ride in manual mode, it really acts kind of crazy. If I do a Rubik's Cube, it will totally act out of line. But just flips and rolls and cruisy stuff, it's doing a good job. I've been pretty happy with it. And that's another thing, the convenience factor is kind of hard to beat. I don't even need to bring a charger. If I can charge my phone, I can charge the drone. And you can put that on a shirt. The remote ID is a pain. Although it's nice to take on vacation, I can put it under the seat on the airplane, and that's super nice. Let's see this. There's my little spotter. Hi, sweetie. Am I in frame? Oh, what was that? Let's see, that was a weird hiccup. Also, my exposure seems really strange. I should put manual settings on. This is bizarre. I'm in all auto, but I have an ND8. Beautiful day, though. Okay, other thing I want to talk about was the 03 versus 04. Now, I started working on this video already. I put a lot of work into it, and I kind of got a little discouraged midway through because I realized there's actually a lot less differences than I expected. Okay, we have a lot better range, signal quality. Okay, but the camera, color, I gotta bring this back. Color is about the same. We do have a little bit higher def and like a higher dynamic range. Right now, I'm not seeing that. I don't know, my camera settings are not correct for that. I think you have to turn off rock steady to be able to get that. Let's go ahead and bring this down. So in my edit that I was working on, where I'm comparing the 04 to the old 03, after color correction, the only thing I really could see the difference was the dynamic range of the shadows and the highlights in the same scene, and then the lens clarity is better on this Avata 2. Bye.